Welcome guys, it's Wes with DIY Food Plot Pro. Thanks for joining us. It's that time of the year again. Cameras are going out. Had to cash out my 401k to be able to buy all the batteries for these cameras. This is only part of my cameras. The biggest majority are still at the house. They'll be going out in the next few weeks. What we're going to talk about today is how to put these up, where to put these up, and most importantly, how to put these up and not spook deer that are extremely skittish. The farm we're at, these deer are very, very skittish of trail cameras, and they've been that way for many years. And I've learned through the years of how to deal with these type of deer. They're not on every single farm. A lot of farms, the deer are not skittish, but this one, mature bucks do not like being on camera. They definitely notice when we put a camera in the standard way. First thing you can do is get a picture of a hammer and he's running from the camera, and then you're sitting there wondering for the rest of the year, where's he at? Is he come back? Is he gonna come back? Is he living on the neighbor's farm now? And you're sitting there running all kinds of cameras trying to find him. So if we can avoid that, I think we're better off in the beginning just avoiding that. Even if the majority of our bucks are not skittish, it only takes one big buck running from your cameras before you realize that, man, I made a mistake and I spooked him, and now I'm wondering if I'm gonna even have a chance of killing him this year or not. Okay, so first things first, I always wear my scent lock gloves when I'm touching my deer cameras. If I can cut down on a little bit of scent, I think that's a huge bonus for me. Okay, so where I'm at right here, this is a spot that if we only summer scouted, we would not even pay any attention to it. Let me show you the trail that's through here. There's really not one. Right? I mean, that is pretty much pretty bare. But I have learned through this set over the years, this is a buck magnet. And it has been for, I've had this farm for 3 years. The first year I didn't find it, the next 2 I did. And it has been a buck magnet for very good quality mature bucks in the summertime. So what we have here, we're standing right on the edge of my cornfield. See all my corn right there. And all the way to the other ends where my box is, probably 500 yards from here, I've got another stand right here. What we've got going on right here, what I think makes this spot so good, they're obviously out here feeding in this corn, but another thing that makes this so good, a natural spot, this is a really easy way to get into this creek. This creek is very steep on both ends. This is one of the only places you can get in where it's not straight up and down 10, 12 feet. Okay, so it funnels these deer. Obviously we can put a camera here, anything transitioning here, we're gonna get a picture of. All behind you is thousands of acres of ridge ground. Very little water up in there. We're still in a drought. This creek is very dry, but there's a few very deep pockets in it that will hold water pretty much all the time. They're not big spots, but they don't really dry up. And these whitetails feed down, and then they go right here to get them a drink of water. Okay, so I've got a stand set up just right over there, about 30 yards. I can shoot this spot from the stand. This is a spot that you would overlook, that many of us would overlook. It's not the only spot down through here where they can get across that creek, but it's one of a few. But the reason that a lot of us would overlook this spot is that trail doesn't even look used to speak of. It's much more difficult scouting in the summertime than it is in late winter. Right after deer season's a great time to be scouting, and that's what happened on this set. I had a hunter in this area, said, man, there is a pile of deer coming out right here. Season got over, we came down here, really good trail coming right through here. Next spring we stuck a camera here, and man, at the activity that's going on in this area. That's one thing that I wanted to show you on how to find these spots. A lot of times it is you being in the deer stand and noticing things. This is not a spot that very many people are going to notice to think, oh, this definitely needs a camera right here. The presence of how much that trail is worn down is very insignificant. Okay, as I said in the intro, this spot is known for buck spooking, being very camera shy. Okay, here's what I've got here. I'm gonna show you how I completely avoided this last year, and it worked awesome. I know it worked good for you as well. So we're on flat ground right here. We're down in the creek bottom right here, okay? Well, there is you can't see it because it is full of stuff growing up on it. But that tree right there, a decent sized tree right there, is sitting up about 4 feet higher than everything else. I take my camera and then I go up as high as I can that gets me up around 10 feet high. And I angle that camera down right towards where you're sitting. And I'm telling you right now, I have not had a single deer figure that camera out since I started putting it there. It's a really good way of going up high, going above them and angling those cameras down. Yes, you are not going to get as far of coverage when it's angled down like that, but you are not spooking deer when they're up like that either. Especially like that. You see how that's not right on the edge of this field. You can see where this field edge starts. I'm going to show you just so you know that's probably 25 feet back in the edge of the woods. So it's not right on the edge. It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. Okay, I've got the camera in the tree. It's really difficult to see, which is the point. I'm gonna show you what I do with these cameras that really helped me a lot last year. And you may know it and you may not, but if you don't, this is really going to be handy and helpful to you. Get on your Tacticam Reveal and you click Wi-Fi and you connect to that camera, and then you can see what that thing is seeing in live action, so you know whether you need to tilt it up, tilt it down, tilt it back, tilt it side to side, whatever you need to do. But that is a very cool tool that I found last year that these cameras do. All right, guys, we got it blended in. It's up, it's active. It's already taken a couple pictures of me. I just want you to see just how well that's blended in. The camera is 25 feet at the very most away from that tree right there. The camera is, heck, I can't even find it in my looking at the screen that y'all are looking at. So it blends in really, really well. It's not going to be something that sticks out to them. And I think that's really important. We are at the other end of the field. Okay, same field we were just in. I just did this on my Onyx. Under tools, there's a thing that you can click on in line distance and you can see how far it is. I am 445 yards away from that other camera. This is the same field. I want to stress that point. This is just kind of a snaky creek bottom, but this is 445 yards from that other camera. The reason I'm putting another camera here, many of you might think, well, you're gonna get the same bucks. Every single year since I've had this farm, I've had two different bachelor groups of bucks. One on this end of the field, one on the other end of the field. Here's the crazy thing, and this is 100% no lie, but I would say 95 to 98% of them, you will never see this buck in this group on that camera over there, or vice versa. They have very small ranges and they stay on them. That's something that I would have not believed had I not seen that with my own two eyes. The difference is there, but 445 yards can make or break you. If you just had one camera on here, you would think you have a bachelor group down here, you're tickled to death with it. You'd have no idea that you had just as big a bachelor group over there with some hammers on it. This happens every single year on this farm. There'll be a big bachelor group here, big bachelor group there, and they very rarely, if any, will you ever see them cross and get one of those bucks on this camera or vice versa. So now that I got that out of the way, I'm using a Browning this time. Why am I using a Browning instead of a Reveal? This is a non-cell camera. This has been an outstanding camera for me. A Browning Dark Ops is what I use. I have the exact same scenario here. This is a spot that I've never had a camera before. There's a lot of deer in this area. How they use this corner, there's a big corner we're standing in. There's an awful lot of trails around this corner, okay? So to zero in on my target bucks that I want a camera that can reach out and touch them. This is this camera for me. It's my opinion. This camera is gonna go out further than the Reveal, and it's gonna give me a better picture than the Reveal. So I still use both. I have an awful lot of these and I absolutely love them. The worst part about them is they're obviously not cell cameras. You have to come physically check the camera. The same scenario. We're right here. We have at least, we don't have as much as we had the last time. We probably got 2.5, maybe 3 feet up higher. And then I'm gonna go up another 6 feet. So I'm gonna be 9 feet above the deer. I'm gonna put it out in this corn and I'm gonna try to catch bucks cruising on this edge. And then once I get them on camera, find a target buck, at that point, I'll start saturating the area, moving it out, figuring out where he's coming from, where he's going, all those details. But this is the first step in the process. This is not gonna be a spot that I'm glued to. I'm gonna run this for 2 to 3 weeks. I'm gonna see what happens. I know they're in this area. I don't have a way to draw them in. I know a lot of you are gonna say, well, just put out corn or minerals right here in front of this camera. You'll get a picture of everything that you need. I can't do that in my area. We're in a CWD surveillance zone. We don't really have any CWD. but we have some below us in Tennessee. So we're in the surveillance zone where we can't feed, we can't put out any form of attractant. If you guys are still able to use that, be thankful for that, because it makes inventory a lot easier when you can put a mineral block right here, corn pile right here. You're gonna get a lot of your deer on camera, but that's not the way in CWD areas, and that crap is spreading all over the US. The state agencies are freaking out every time a case gets close to you, and they are shutting the baiting down. So if you haven't started, you might start trying to get inventory of bucks without using those aids, because there likely is going to come a time when you're not gonna be able to use them. I'm gonna stick this camera up and we're gonna rock on. I'll show you exactly what it looks like. Okay, so once again, she's up in that tree right there. Somewhere, I can't even see it from y'all's point of view. It's hidden, it's up high. It's probably 9 feet, maybe 10. Slightly angled down looking at this corn, but you notice it's not on the edge again. It's off the edge at least 10, 15 feet. So it's not gonna be sticking out here like a sore thumb. Last year here, I put a fence post out in the middle of this. I had corn all the way around it, and then I had beans in the middle. Put a fence post out there on the edge of the corn, and a reveal, and I spooked the heck out of some bucks out there. So I can't do that here. I'm gonna use my trusty machete here. I'm gonna trim some of these up high limbs. This thing has been over some acres here, boys and girls. I hope y'all can see that. You ever find one like that right there? That's a monster right there. I don't even know what brand this thing is, but it's been around a many a moons, and it's really helped me a whole bunch. And you can see she's took some abuse, and she's still rolling. So I'm pretty happy with this thing. This thing stays with me all the time. All right, we're at another location, and I just want to show you again the importance of scouting in the fall and the winter. Look at this right here. Does anybody see a really good trail? Not particularly, honestly, not really. There's not one here. It's kind of wore down, but it's not really a great trail to put a camera on. You wouldn't expect any whitetails to be here to speak of. Last year, I put a camera on that tree right there after getting intel that these deer were coming off this hillside up here down into this ag field. Put a camera here, and you would not believe how many deer, bucks especially, were on camera coming off this hill going down this corn down here. I'm gonna go ahead and stick my camera back up on that tree again, even though I'm not seeing a ton of sign that's telling me, yeah, this is exactly where the camera needs to go. This is just past year's details. You can see up here, there's a little better sign of a trail. Pretty decent trail right there. 2 trails actually. See those? One right here and one right here. But if you were just to be down there at my Ranger and looking down, I don't think anybody's gonna put a camera right here. It's just the importance of going out there, walking around, knowing what's on your farm, where they're coming from, where they're bedding, where they're going to, and actually coming out here and sitting down and watching this field and seeing how everything works out. This is a place that was really, really difficult for me to key in on, okay, this is the spot that I need my camera to locate those bucks without using corn. The way we did that, how we made this work, we came out, we sat, and we watched it. And that's how we learned where to put these cameras to be able to get our buck inventory. Hopefully they're still here this year. I had some really good bucks that made it last year here. Really like to see them again here on camera. I really want a Tacticam here because this is a long way from my house. It's not the best camera to go in this location though, to be honest with you. I would much rather have a Browning right there because I could set that Browning at 1 second delays, and it's gonna take a whole bunch of pictures just like that right there. Any bachelor group that comes off this hillside, it's gonna get every one of them, or the Tacticam is sending me pictures, and while other deer are going through, it's gonna miss them. I'm just hoping that over time, I can get all the bucks on here, is what I'm hoping for. We're not really in a rush right now. Hunting season's still a long ways off, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the Tacticam here so I don't have to drive all the way up here all the time. Thank you guys for watching. Smash that like and subscribe button if this video's been helpful to you.